Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. The video I've been promising for the past couple weeks, which is the 2023 room tour. So, self-explanatory. Let's just kind of jump right into it. Entryway down into the music room here. So you guys know all of these, so I don't necessarily have to go into any big explanation. LPs there. One thing that's a little different here, I have this little kind of picture that basically any VC members that come to visit me, the first thing they have to do before they come into the music room is sign in, which is by putting their autograph on that thing. So hopefully over the years that will get well filled, because I would love to have tons of you guys actually come and visit. More autograph stuff here, including some autographed 7 inches and autographed CDs right there. Little Pink Floyd kind of some of those tin decorative things. Metallica there. Some more really cool posters here. And right there. Including one of my absolute favorite posters right here at the bottom, which is that bad boy right there. Love that poster. Love that shot of him. And so that brings you kind of right down into, you see the label is Rock and Roll Boulevard, which is right into the music room. And this is what the music room looks like from here. And this is the view from this side of the room. So let me start off by kind of just doing a quick general overall scan so you can kind of get an idea about the layout. Maybe for those that haven't seen one of my tours of this room before. Although I think it's only the second time I've done a tour of this room, maybe. But anyway. But kind of give you an idea about how I have things laid out. Stereo right over here, and then going into what was behind me right there. All right, so I'll kind of get into, I'm gonna do a ton of detail, but yeah, let's just kind of walk through. Matter of fact, let's just kind of go through and start with this corner over here and work our way back around. So over here, the first wall that you come to is going to be the kind of my hard rock, hard alternative, grunge, metal, glam metal section, if you will. So all of that is kind of right over here between these two cubes and this here. So as you can see, as far as decorations on the wall there, I have kind of the 3D artwork with the guitars, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you can kind of see how they're raised up off of the surface there. But some of the legends right through there. So I'm still kind of in a place where the only albums I'll put on the wall are autographed albums. So that's the only thing that goes up there, including some of my favorites like the Kitty and the Melvins, signed by both Buzz and Dale, Corrosion of Conformity, a few others there. Again, for those that have known me for a while, you kind of already know this, but for maybe those that are seeing my video for the first time, I am pretty particular about my organization. So I use a lot of dividers. I refer to them as tabs, but I use a lot of dividers here, separating things out into genres, as well as separating out some individual artists sometimes. So as you can kind of see here through my metal section, some of the artists that I have separated out. Right there. All right, and so then down below, this is where I have kind of all my hard rock, glam, and metal box sets, including some other individual artists that are separated out there. Another little kind of project that I'm working on. Sometimes I like to fiddle around and kind of, create stuff on my own. I'm not the greatest artist in the world, but I just kind of see things sometimes. And when I was walking through, I think it was a Michael's, and I saw this little foam skull sitting there, and it just kind of made me think, that looks like, and you guys know who. right? So I decided to go on a little project where, I mean, I'm far from completing it. I've just kind of gotten a couple pieces, but by the time I get done with it, it's going to be my little personal tribute to Megadeth there. So, and then kind of some other little, skulls that I found. Same thing a couple years ago with these crossbones down here. It's kind of some of those fences that you stick in the ground during Halloween. They were like $1.99 each, and like each one was like 3 long. And so I just bought a few of them, just cut off the legs, and they made nice little decorations on the front of the the bins there. So anyway, that's kind of my metal section there, metal, hard rock, and so forth. Over right across from it is where you have your R&B. I do have Sade down there too, but mainly just kind of all my R&B box sets. A couple things on the wall there, a little Bo Diddley, little autograph Sam and Dave, signed by David Porter. And again, kind of going right into 60s, 70s R&B, 60s, 70s with the ladies, a few individual artists in Motown, little funk, going into 80s R&B, 80s ladies R&B, and then kind of into the 90s and 2000s there. Kind of a good chunk of most of the burnt CDs that I've had over the years. I just kind of personally like keeping hard copies of everything, so I just choose not to get rid of those. Kind of some more posters and things of that nature. Some more posters here in the corner. And one thing that some people think is kind of odd, but I actually kind of like it myself. With the way I kind of like to decorate, as you can see, I definitely like to have kind of music everywhere and that type of thing. So one thing that has always bugged me about some of my music rooms is having like white doors just kind of breaking up the flow of the wonderful world of music, if you will. So what I've started doing is kind of putting posters, just kind of either leaning them in front of the door like this, and maybe hanging one on the door, because that way I get to enjoy the greatness of Bob Marley or Dizzy Gillespie, as opposed to just having like a plain white door kind of messing up the flow of my musical world. So again, one weird thing I like to do, more posters, autograph stuff there. It's my bathroom with the Kiss Destroyer shower curtain there. And then of course the office is right over here, and we'll kind of go into that in a minute. But right next to it, you have the little stand that I got for just a couple of bucks at the store that I found, but it kind of holds my MoFi CDs pretty nice, kind of displays them in a nice way. So, have that sitting there. And then let's kind of go back over to this wall here. Here, I'll start in with this corner with my homemade box sets. Again, just kind of little projects I like to do on the side when I find some of those old beat up cases, carrying cases. If they're metal, sometimes I'll sand them down or just kind of, paint them and, just kind of redesign them and put some of my collections inside of them. So here you have the White Snake one on the bottom left. Of course, you can see Black Sabbath, Van Halen, AC/DC, Linda Ronstadt, White/Rob Zombie, Rush, and then my Kiss one right there. Which my Kiss one's kind of starting to come apart a little bit. I use some of those stick-on jewels, and they just been kind of weakening over the years. So I'm gonna have to go back and put those on with glue instead. But anyway, kind of going back up here, this is what's oftentimes referred to as the wow wall, like display wall. As you can see right up through here, a bunch of those kind of IKEA shelves just butted up against each other. The only thing is with mine, I don't like to just kind of take my most valuable or rare records and put them up there, because that gets kind of boring after a while. So every couple of weeks, I'll come up with a new theme and just kind of shift the albums that are up there. Great way to take advantage of artwork and have a little fun. And this week, the theme is what I call the Ricky Bobby wall. And for those of you that know Talladega Nights and love Ricky Bobby, one of the best characters that Will Ferrell ever had, is his motto was, you're either first or you're last. And that's what I decided to do with this wall, is that going to different artists, just looking at pulling out their first album and their last album. So you're either first or you're last, all the way around. So that's kind of what the theme was this time. Even with the Van Halen, the first Roth album, first Hagar album, and then the last for each too. So So yeah, again, just kind of always having fun with it, and it's just whatever pops in my head, that's what I roll with. Now down below, these cool little wire stands, which came from IKEA. You know, I think they're like $12 a piece or something like that. Just kind of some neat little stands that allow you to get, you know, creative with some different spaces. So down here, I have my country and reggae/world collection. And then up top, basically kind of going straight down the line here, you start with 60s and just go all the way down to the 90s and 2000s. So just kind of a, you know, quick little scan there. You'll see with the dividers there, you know, kind of going into folk and soft rock, psych, classic rock, 80s new wave, 80s alternative, 80s ladies new wave, 80s pop rock, 80s ladies pop rock, 80s guitar rock. So I can get very, very specific with my genres. 90s and 2000s, and then 90s and 2000s ladies, right up through there. So that's kind of what that wall is right there. Down below, you have hip hop divided into old school and then just rap and hip hop, as well as some individual artists, and then just kind of some books and a couple other signed LPs down there. And at the very end of this, I'll go through and kind of talk about what sleeves I use and stuff like that, because that is a question I get quite a bit. So I'll put that on at the very end instead of stopping in the middle of the video here. And so let's see, let's finish over here before I move on. So then of course, couch and the pillows right through here. A lot of different varying artists there, as well as on the table. Just kind of a glass top table, which I just cut out some pictures from a book and just kind of stuck them underneath the glass. So that's kind of how I, you know, very simply came up with that. New shelf I just put in over here. As you can tell, the top shelf there, or the top two cubes, all MoFi pressings, and then down here on the bottom left is all the Tone Poets, then Half Speed remasters, and then Walmart exclusives. Excuse me, down there. Up top, those are just some of the boxes where I hold some of my grails. You know, just a lot of different things that maybe just want a little extra protection to them and that type of thing. So those just kind of hold some of the more prized possessions. Subwoofer down here, BMW subwoofer, but sitting on top of it is just my synth pop, dance, techno, pop rock, and burger record label section. Or I shouldn't say section, it's kind of a place where I was able to put it. Deluxe CDs throughout here. Still love collecting those. So, and then of course artwork, everything kind of speaks for itself. Stereo system, really haven't added anything significant. Still running the BMW towers there. I did add the TV down here, which is kind of nice. But yeah, still have the Parasound 2100 preamplifier. Still running the Niles 2125 amplifiers, those two at the bottom. And the Nakamichi LX3 cassette deck. And my two turntables, my main turntable still being the JVC QL5 with the 2M blue cartridge. Definitely love that table. And my old workhorse here that I just cannot seem to get rid of. I just love the mechanics of this table, which is the MCS 6601. But I kind of go between the 2M red and a number of other cartridges on that one. But yeah, love both of those tables. So, been working out great. And then of course my new Project 2 preamp right there, which has been really, really nice. So that's kind of what we have on this side. All right, so now kind of going from that corner, in my mind, it jumps right over here. And this entire row right here, which of course is in front of the Van Halen wall, with some other autographed albums up there. But this entire row is just individual artists that have been separated out. All different type of genres and everything else, but this is just kind of where they've gone. And in my organizing, as you see with pretty much all these individual artists, they have that little red labeled record in front of them. Whenever a tab or a divider is just marking a genre, it just has the genre. Whenever an individual artist is separated out and hits its own divider, it gets that little record in front of it. Again, it's just something that I do within my organizing. The only time it won't get that is if I actually have like a band logo like that I can put on it. So you can kind of see here just some of the individual artists that I've separated out into their own little categories. So this right here, like this category, is actually just all Kiss OGs. So that's kind of the specific categories there, because everything in the box that I showed you a minute ago was all the 2016 reissues. So, but yeah, that's kind of the Kiss OG collection. So that's what kind of continues all the way throughout here. And then the very last cube up here is just all the Record Store Day stuff. And then down below, you have, that's just kind of punk right there. A couple more autograph things. Some more individual artists just can't fit up top there. And some more autographed albums. And then kind of weird, this little cube down here, that's all stuff that is not in Discogs, because I put everything in my collection inside of Discogs. I'm still working on my cassettes and CDs, but these are things that I looked up that were not in Discogs, so I put them down here until either they show up or I have to go in and put them in myself. So anyway, so that's that. So let's kind of work our way back over here. So at the end of that 90s and 2000s is where the CDs kick off, right? So you have the CD wall, those little display racks all side by side there. Really cool racks too. Have no idea where really to get these anymore. They sold them on Amazon for a while and then they kind of disappeared. But they were really nice because, you know, it goes like 4 across and 6 down. And, you know, the CD's just kind of sitting there and they're just kind of really easy when you want to pull one out. Boom. And they just kind of sit right back in, which is cool. I wish I could get more of them, but... So, sorry. Yeah, so no rhyme or reason to what's up there. I just randomly swap things around. Again, just taking advantage of the artwork. Down here, CDs are organized basically the exact same way as my records are. You start off here with mini LPs, Japanese LPs, or CDs, I'm sorry. And then just kind of moves right into metal, hard alternative, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and blah, blah, blah. Just like that. And then the same thing, I'm sorry, excuse me, it ends with 90s ladies up there and picks it right back up down here and just kind of continues on, you know, funk, hip hop, world, reggae, and then it goes all into individual artists separated out with their own dividers. So that's what we have down there. And with my CDs, I'm just as picky about my CD collection as I am with my vinyl collection. So CDs are absolutely unacceptable to me if they have any marks or scuffs or anything of any kind. So if you look through my entire CD collection, 99 times out of 100, if you just reach in and pull any random CD out, it's going to be like brand spanking new, mirror reflection clean. I've just gotten just as anal about that as my vinyl. So that's why not only do I clean each CD when I get it, but each one also gets a resealable outer sleeve as well. Because I'll replace the jewel case if it has any scuffs or cracks or, you know, sticker marks or whatever. So I like my CD collection to be just as clean as my vinyl collection. All right, so that's what we have as far as the CDs go. And then we flip right around here, actually back up a little bit. This is where the rest of my CDs are with, you know, what soundtracks, hip hop there, and then kind of blues at the bottom. So that's where that is. And then we just have kind of the blues section, or I'm sorry, jazz section right over here. Another display wall, and then just kind of the jazz right through here, as well as kind of some smooth jazz towards the bottom there. Then I do still have my Finders Keepers section right down here. And for those that haven't seen my videos before, Finders Keepers are basically records that to me are not good enough to be in my collection, but they still play fine. Everything's great. I can actually listen to them and enjoy them when I want to hear them until I can get my hands on an excellent to near mint copy. And this is kind of a perfect example right here with this OG Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers there. I mean, to a lot of people, this is, I mean, a very just kind of decent average record. You see kind of the ring wear there at the top, and that ring wear there and so forth. Just kind of where I'm at in my stage of collecting. That's just not something I feel is worthy of coming into my collection. But I mean, the record itself is a very solid VG plus, and it plays great. But I'm just gonna have to wait until I get a perfect one before it officially goes into my collection. But that's kind of what finders keepers are right down there. Over here, again, kind of the same thing I was saying about the Doors earlier. As far as covering them up, nice big Kiss poster and the Runaways. I mean, come on, wouldn't you much rather look at that each time you walk by that door as opposed to just a white door? I mean, come on. Right over here we have soundtracks. All right, so that kind of completes that. So then right down this way, cassette collection right here. Actually starts on that one over there. This is the couch that I replaced, so I still have to move this upstairs, so of course it's not supposed to be sitting here, but we'll get this out of the way in a few days. But cassette collection is basically the exact same way as you saw with the CDs and the vinyl. Same type of organization and everything. Don't really have any artists that I separate out with individual dividers with my cassettes though. So they just kind of stay in genres and then alphabetical and chronological. So you start off with the metal and all that stuff, and you end up going into the 60s, 70s rock, and kind of continues off over here. So then right over here in this corner, this is my cleaning station. This is where I process everything. This is my Isonic ultrasonic cleaner. One of the greatest things I've ever brought into my music room. I cannot say enough positive things about it. You guys have already kind of heard and kind of know how anal I am about my collecting, and this just kind of takes it to a whole nother level. So absolutely love this thing and cannot say enough good things about it. But this is again where I dry everything, all my cleaning supplies and all of that, and the sleeves and everything that I used right there and right over there. And again, I'll kind of go into detail with that a little bit later. And this is just stuff that's on Discogs, shipping materials, all that kind of stuff right through there. All right. So that kind of gives you an idea about everything back here. And so the next thing we will do is kind of go in and take a look at the office over here. All right, so let's give kind of a quick little overall view of the office. So as you can see right over here, we have my CD box sets. Sorry, a little bit out of focus there. And kind of my, you can say, second listening area. A little bit of wall treatments there. And then going right over here to my main box set wall. So you can see there all of my vinyl box sets. You have some one-steps up top, some autographed CDs, a couple of homemade box sets with the Overkill and Motorhead CD box sets I made. The Bowie sets, which are just some of my favorite pieces in my collection, and then just other random box sets there. Now, as you can see, one of the things that I've done is taken the albums out of the boxes and put them right to the right, because I've just found, subconsciously or whatever else, you end up playing the records out of your box sets a lot more when you don't have to go through the process of pulling out each individual box, and quite frankly, the hassle that can be sometimes. So this little simple thing has actually made me play the stuff in my box sets a lot more. Over here, have a little cube there with all my autographed records, and the ones I have hanging on the wall out there are all in those little white sleeves at the very beginning, so that way I'm still, playing those records when I want to, and all that good stuff. More CDs down there at the bottom, all my Digipack CDs. Just kind of keeps them out of the jewel case CDs. They don't get beat up as much when shuffling through, since they're, obviously the cardboard stuff, they can be a little more sensitive to damage. And then over here you have your white label promos, and then my Japanese pressings are right through there. And then you just have this stereo set up here, which is kind of a simple right to the point stereo, but a great system here. I really do love this one. I have my HPM 100s, the Pioneers, and then of course the Beast itself, which is the Marantz 2275. Turntable wise, you have the Project Genie, along with the Cambridge Audio 351C CD player, and the Pioneer 707 reel-to-reel. So really, really solid little system right here. I definitely love listening to music in here just as much as out in my main room. And then on this side, you have some reel-to-reels, and then my 7-inch collection. And then I've already kind of showed you there just kind of some of my CD box sets. Not in any type of order. Most of the stuff here is just arranged kind of according to box size, really. Just kind of what fits. And then down here are new albums that, you know, either stuff that I'll be showing in future videos, or things that I've shown need to be processed, or things I still need to listen to, but just somewhere in the process before I actually put them away on my shelf. Stuff is kind of sitting right in there. So there you go, VC. As always, thanks you guys for kind of, you know, coming around, checking out the room tour video. These are definitely, for me, I love watching room tour videos more than probably any others in the VC. It's just something about seeing someone else's musical world and their musical life. And again, I don't care if it's a couple of hundred records just laying in the corner, or you're a multi-millionaire with like a 10,000 square foot, you know, music room. It's just something about diving into a person's musical world that I just love seeing it. So if this inspires any of you to do a tour yourself, definitely let me know, because I would love to check it out. All right, so take care, VC. As always, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, guys, thanks for going on the tour. Really appreciate you sticking around for that. Sorry about the noise there at the beginning and the mistake that I made with the Ozzy. And for those of you that kind of caught that, I guess I did put something up there, but just didn't notice that till after I shot the video that I made that mistake with pulling out the wrong Ozzy record. But anyway, I kind of mentioned at the very end here that I was going to show you what sleeves and stuff that I use. So let me kind of jump right into it. As far as outer sleeves go, I use these sleeves from Bags Unlimited, and these are the crystal clear resealable sleeves. 1.5 mil, 12 5/8 by 12 5/8, which is the standard sleeve that will fit, you know, pretty much any normal kind of standard record. About 80%, 90% of my records will fit into the 12 5/8. Usually when I order them, you know, I'll order a few bags of the 12 5/8, and I might order one bag of the 13 by 13, or maybe the 12 by, I think it's 3/8, I believe, or 3/6 or something like that. There's like one little size bigger than that, just for some of those more oversized double LP jackets and stuff like that. Sometimes you might need the bigger jacket, but usually one bag will take me through a bunch of bags of the 5/8. So that's kind of what I use. I like the crystal clear because of the way that it makes kind of the artwork pop, and that's a huge part of why I collect vinyl, is enjoying the artwork. I know some people really don't like the resealable. To them it's a pain in the butt, but like to me, you know, you kind of get used to it to the point to where that's how long it takes for you to get to a record. You know, that's how long it takes to seal a record. So it's kind of, you know, just kind of like anything else, but kind of what you get used to. And not to mention, you know, you get the extra protection of the resealable sleeves, but then also for me personally with the resealable sleeves, it, for lack of better terms, gives me permission to put my inner sleeve with the opening facing out. So just like you saw, it's kind of easy to get to the record because it's protected with the outer seal. So to me, that's just kind of the way I prefer keeping my records. It's easier than, you know, having to pull out the whole record out of the sleeve and then pulling the record out. Or if you didn't want to do that, some people will load from the top and then they'll keep their album in the back behind the record, which makes it easier to get to. But now as I'm flipping through my collection, especially in the front facing bins that I have, one of the things I enjoy the most is just kind of looking through the artwork and just browsing through records, and to completely take away the back covers from me would also be a spoiler. So I've just kind of found that this is the way that I get the most enjoyment out of out of how I store and use sleeves. So I use the resealable sleeves, and once an album has gone through the ultrasonic cleaning process, which every single album in my collection must do, then it gets a rice paper inner sleeve. And I'm really not keen on what brand. I don't care if it's MoFi, I don't care if it's vinyl style, I don't care if it's fudge, I don't care if it's premium master sleeves. As long as it's one of the rice paper sleeves like this, I'm good with it. But every single album gets one of those. The white paper sleeves inside, I just toss them. Even if it's one of the polyline paper sleeves, they get tossed, or I give them to people that want them. Of course, any original sleeves with lyrics and artwork or blah blah blah, of course, stay in there. But you know, so that's basically kind of what I do with my sleeves. And I use the exact same sleeves for my jewel case CDs. You know, just kind of a smaller size, but the exact same thing, as well as my 45s. Exact same thing, crystal clear, resealable, 1.5 mil. So basically the same sleeve on all of my media there. So then the other thing I do as far as like, you know, some of the stickers and things you see like that within my collection when I show stuff, oftentimes you'll see these OG stickers, which are just stickers that I had made. I ordered off of eBay. You know, you can get on there and just type in, you know, price stickers or whatever, and there'll be a gazillion different companies that make those. And they're just basically a blank canvas. It'll have like the sticker there, and it'll say, put your text here. And you can write anything you want there. You know, most stores are using them for pricing and that type of thing, but you can use them for your music world. So I just saw these that I really liked, and I just, you know, emailed them that, hey, I want to buy 500. I want you to put OG really big and then pressing on the bottom. And I think it was like $20 something, and I got like 500 of them. So it's kind of like that simple. So that's kind of where the OG stickers come from. And basically I only use the OG stickers when I'm putting them on something where OG is actually significant to the album. You know, because for example, there's a ton of 80s pop, 80s new wave albums that came out that there's never been a reissue of them. Like there's only been the original copy. So OG is not really significant to that. But if you have a different issues or different pressings that have come out over the years and that type of thing, where an OG copy actually is different than a bunch of others, then typically that's when I'll put an OG sticker on the corner. And it's just another fun thing to do within my collection. So, and then I also did the same thing with, I guess I could have shown both here. I had a gold stamp promo sticker made as well. And the same thing, it was like 20 something bucks for a few hundred of them, and just got those right off of eBay, and you know, that simple. So just another fun way for me to enjoy my collection. Just make sure if you do this, and I'm sure you probably, you know, you'll think about this, but you know, one of the reasons I got this one is because I thought that kind of glitter effect, that light shifting effect was kind of cool. It made it stick out a little bit. But these were specifically made for security purposes. So if you try to rip them off, like half the sticker will come off and half will stay. It's like, again, security thing. So make sure you don't do something like order some stickers off of there and then actually stick them on the actual album cover. You know, make sure you're only putting them on your outer sleeves or something like that. So again, goes without saying, but just thought I would throw that in there. So that's that. Last one I guess I'll show really quick. On the back here, every single album that goes into my collection gets one of these as well. And this is just kind of how I keep stuff in my database and blah, blah, blah. So plain and simple, after the album's been cleaned and everything, it gets one of these white stickers on the back where I put the year of the album, the actual year it was released, regardless of pressing. And then after that, you get the condition of the vinyl, which is near mint, the condition of the cover, which is excellent, and then the actual pressing of the album. And you can see this is a 1973 US pressing. The current value, which again will kind of shift. So if you're really doing this in your collection, like I really try to keep on top of updating things as, you know, prices shift significantly. And then that little green dot, which are these little labeling stickers here that I picked up at a CVS, that's just what I stick on the back of that whenever I've actually ultrasonically cleaned the album. So that lets me know at any point in time with any album what process it's been through, because it will not go in, it does not get one of these stickers filled out until it's in my database, Discogs and my personal database. It doesn't get one of these stickers until it's ultrasonically cleaned. And then from that point, if it's an album I haven't heard before or whatever, it must get listened to before it gets put on the shelf. So it's kind of part of my whole little process or whatever. But just another fun way I go about keeping my collection, kind of how I organize and all that stuff. So that's my sleeves and my stickers and all that good stuff. So again, it's been a long video, so thanks for sticking around, guys. Appreciate it, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, VC.